Hi and welcome to the second part of this video. And as you can see here, I'm starting to just fill in the background a little bit more with Prussian blue. I have mentioned it before, but this painting is quite dramatic in a way. And I think it's because of the dark contrast and the dark background. And you know what? That is the easy way just to start creating a little drama on your canvas. It's just by contrast. Contrasting, foreground, background. And also, if you use brush strokes in a certain way, it can actually look a little violent. And that's also a way to contrast with, the serenity of the flowers, for instance. So I think it is. So this is the fifth painting we're doing for this workshop, and I think if you've watched through all the videos, you get a fair sense of what I do. So having said that, it's very hard to explain in words without visuals, without video, techniques, right? So I do think that the videos is extremely helpful, and I don't think I'll be able to do this class without the videos, because in the end, pictures speaks 1,000 words, and you have learned so much about acrylic paint. And I think if you actually paint it on the canvas, we've covered drawing, we've covered washes, we've covered impasto, we've covered blending. We've covered color blocking, there's not a lot more than you can do with acrylic paint than what we've done in this workshop. Okay, having said that, the style of painting can vary tremendously, right? So you can start doing hyperrealism. That will be a total different style. But in the end, you still apply your, not watercolors, acrylic paints to the canvas. And this is what we cover in this class. And also, I think this is a fun class to just get rid of your fear of trying it. I think sometimes something is so built up in our head that acrylic paint sounds so, and in the end, when you just start painting with it, you realize the joy of it and how it's not, there's really nothing to be afraid of. You can see that I'm painting over the words, and I said from the beginning that whenever I paint words on my canvas, it's never an element that I feel partial to. I paint them with the full knowledge that half of it might disappear into the background. I might paint over it. I might eliminate it altogether. It's just a starting point. And speaking of starting points, so this is honestly the name of an art journaling workshop that I have, and it just tells you that sometimes you just have to start somewhere, and sometimes that's what the words on the acrylic canvas is to me. It's just a starting point, and it points you in a certain direction, and you just go with the flow, and you might end up on a completely different destination, So I know, lots of rambling. I'm blending a little bit of the paint in there, and now I'm actually adding a little bit of the deep turquoise, which is such a beautiful color. So a couple of people asked me about this workshop and asked if it's for beginners, if a beginner will be able to follow along. And, that's actually a hard question to answer, even though my whole purpose of this class was to make it as duplicatable as possible. That's why I'm showing you all the techniques, all the painting process, the whole process, and not sped up, but in real time, so that I don't want to take anything away. I want to be completely transparent so that you can actually paint with me. But the one thing that I do want to say is, yes, it's absolutely for beginners, but the only way that you're going to learn to paint is to paint. There's no way around it. You can watch a gazillion videos. You're not going to learn to paint. You can read all the books. You can go to all the workshops. If you don't actually pick up a paintbrush, you're not going to learn to paint. And you know what? It's not going to be that easy. You're going to watch me paint and think, well, she makes it look so easy. Why do I struggle? And it's just that thing that you just have to keep doing it. So I'm sorry if I burst your bubble, but hopefully I make it easy, because just the way that I apply my paint is very, very simplistic. It's basic. It's like coloring with acrylics, and then you start adding the details, so it's this building of layers. And even the way that we transfer the drawings to our canvas, it's so duplicatable. Anyone should be able to do it. So hopefully I simplified the process for you a lot. But having said that, you still have to actually go out, get the canvas and start the painting process, And guess what? I'll be there to cheer you on along the way. I don't ever feel hesitant to show me your painting and your work and your progress, because we've all been there. I'm the least judgmental person that you'll ever meet, and the only thing I will do is applaud you for actually just starting. That's really who I am as a person anyway. Ask my children. No, they'll tell you that I'm a very strict mum. No, but honestly, so just start painting, okay? And don't be afraid, and don't be hard on yourself, Take that risk. Paint over the words. It's okay. Guess what? It actually feels good. So that is just what I wanted to tell you. I love this painting, and I love how the drama on it, maybe that's what I love the most about it, Okay, so now we're going to start painting in some details, and while I do that, I'll play you a little bit of music to give myself a break from my own voice, and then I'll come back and talk you through the last bit of this painting. Okay, so you've probably noticed that I paint the same flowers on all the canvases. And to be quite honest with you, that was on purpose, because I was thinking to myself, if you can learn to paint like a couple of flowers really well, then you'll have the courage to start maybe adding new ones to your repertoire, so to speak. So the rose, the protea, that dahlia, I don't even know the names of all the flowers, but so the point is, I don't know if you've noticed it. I just wanted to mention that, if you, and I probably will cover this in my hi hello video or in the pre-class video, but if you have a limited budget and you only have like a budget for a couple of the inks, I would definitely think that you should get the white ink. I've actually tried to make the white ink with just some titanium white and water, and just add enough water and shake it up enough, But honestly, the actual ink is so much more opaque than the ones that I try to make myself. So I will have a couple of solutions for you. If you only have a limited budget, then you can only get 3 or 4 of each color, which one you should do. So please go and watch that video again. Even though at this point, just full disclosure, I haven't made it yet. But I'm thinking about it, and I do this on purpose. I do my final videos or the hello videos and about the class videos always last, because I first want to go through the whole process so that I can know what better to tell you, So I think that makes sense. So, like I've said so many times, doing the details are my favorite, and this is where I think this is why I just go through the whole process, is to get to this point where I can just fill in the details. And it's always such a joy for me to just sit down and just focus on what's at hand and just tune out the world a little. And I just love it. Also, the whole idea that every inch of your painting should be a painting in itself. That's a very good, cool idea to keep in mind when you paint, and to make every piece interesting, every square inch of it, even if it's just a paint brush mark. So that is just something to also keep in mind when you paint. And then in the end, how you start off with the drawing might not be how your painting actually look in the very end, when all the paint is added and you've painted on it. So keep in mind that have an open mind, that your painting might take you on a journey that you didn't even know you were going on. So that's how I look at it. I can really not recommend my 2 art journal classes strongly enough. Especially if you're new to the creative process, then I can't even begin to tell you how valuable the art journaling process is. It's honestly, maybe it was the start for me, just getting back into painting again. It's just to start art journaling, and the joy that it brought me and the amount of creativity it unleashed for me was just remarkable. It's like the basics of painting for me is art journaling, and that is just what I will be teaching from now on. I'm actually very excited to just do another art journal class as well at some point, because of the value, and especially having this whole experience in mind with painting, and maybe focusing more on painting on art journal pages as well, So I think if you like this class, take heart. There will be much more coming, because this really just opened a whole new world for me in what I want to teach. Really, I just absolutely love it, and I hope you love it too. And I hope you tell me if you love it, because believe it or not, we as teachers, we do need to hear, and feedback is incredibly important to us. And also, if there's parts that's frustrating to you, I would love to know that too. Okay, just don't email me because of my lack of grammar, of good grammar, okay? That can just stay between you and you. Okay, so this painting is almost done. It's getting there. I love the details on it. I love how the leaves are dripping down. There's really some parts when I watch my videos back that I wish I just stopped. But now, of course, we always have to carry on. But I'm going to keep on painting, and let's see where this painting ends. And I think this is me wrapping up for this this painting number 5. And I'll see you in the final painting in the next video. But I'm going to play you music, just to take this painting to its finality, and then I'll see you in the next video. Bye.